It's my great pleasure to speak with Mr. John Gallagher, singer and bassist of British metal legends Raven. The band has a new album called Extermination, and I think it's their 13th full-length on SPV Steamhammer coming out. So thanks so much for taking the time to talk with We Love Metal today.
No problem.
All right. Well, first off, John, I've been a fan. I'm kind of an old guy since All for One, at least. I don't know if I got on board with Rock Until You Drop or not, but I know All for One for sure. So, when I talk to some of the bands I've listened to for 30 plus years, I wondered, did you guys have any thought that you guys would go on for this long?
Of course not. No one thinks that far ahead. You know, you ask some 25-year-old kid, hey, what are you going to be doing when you're 50? They'll be like, I hope I'm still around. So that makes it sweeter for us. I mean, we're out here, we're in good health, we're crazy as we ever were, if not more so, playing better, writing great music, having a good time. So it's all good, you know?
All right, yeah. Writing great music for sure. Your new album, Extermination, I think is a fantastic follow-up to Walk Through Fire from 5 years ago. I imagine you guys are pretty happy with the results.
Yeah, we were real happy with Walk Through Fire, and we said, okay, we got to do better. It's always the case. You've got to raise the bar, and we really wanted to kick on this one. So process was a lot more involved regarding the writing and the arranging. We wrote a lot. I mean, we had a lot of time to write songs for Walk Through Fire, so we had a lot of songs. But with this, we had at least as many, probably 30, 35 really good song ideas, of which we picked and narrowed it down to about, 20. Mm-hmm. And worked on them. And as we went, we said, okay, this one fits better with this. And basically wanted to have a cohesive bunch of songs, but with enough diversity so you weren't listening to the same damn thing over and over again.
Oh, sure. And you certainly get that.
Yeah, you want to have that blend between, having it all hang together nicely, like something like you said, like All for One, or you don't want to have it to turn into a variety album where, okay, and this is where we do our Tito Puente number. So, I think we straddled that line pretty good on this,
Yeah, sure. There's certainly a variety of tempo for sure. You even kind of venture almost into a very slow song for you guys. I don't remember which one it is. It's later in the album.
River of No Return.
Yep. So, but I always try to dig through and figure out, okay, what's my favorite song on this album, with any album. And right now I have to go with Scream.
Cool.
Just something about that one. Maybe it's a little thrashier than the rest. Can you give us some insight on what went into the songwriting on that one?
Well, that one, this is the great thing with this record is Mark really stepped up and brought a lot more material to the table than he's done for quite a few years, actually. He brought a lot of really good stuff into this.
Uh-huh.
And he had that song, and he had a really horrible demo with him playing real scratchy guitar with real crappy drum machine. And it came to that middle part, I'm like, what's going on here? Because the drums just stopped, and it just had this huge heavy riff. Because I don't get it. He says, let me explain. We went to the rehearsal room, and it's like, oh, I get it. Of course, Joe, that son of a bitch, he knew what he meant immediately. So, but it's the cool thing about that song is it's relatively short, but it's got a good variety of stuff going on. It has the stop-start verse thing.
Yep.
I love the way it turned out on the chorus, where it's got this country motion deal where the bass goes high and the guitar goes low, and the strong melody, and then the real heavy riff, and then that crazy riff on after the solo with Joe banging the crap out of that China cymbal. And the offbeat, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that thing, it come out great.
Yeah.
So that's a song that we definitely want to go over and get out and play that one live. that's what's going to be difficult with this album, actually, because we had so much fun rehearsing, putting it together.
Yep.
Pretty much all the songs hang great live. So it'll be tough, but that seems to be a perennial. People seem to like that song after hearing the album.
Okay. Do you happen to have a current favorite? I know they're like all your children, but
that's really it. And I mean, like I say, I've been working on this for a good 2 years, and I was the one that had felt it basically demoing this stuff. So every song I've probably demoed one way or another completely 15, 20 times. So it's hard for me, there was a lot of other songs that kind of either just got left in embryonic states and these got developed, so it's kind of hard, but it changes. And the important thing about this is, we spent time putting the running order together. So each song is in its right place. So once you hear one, you want to hear the next one.
Right.
It's kind of a lost art. There's been times way in the past where we said, this should never have been here. It should have been there. And I know it's unfashionable in this day and age of needle dropping and just, fast forward to the next song. And, it's like a lost art, listening. Take the time. If there's something you like, doesn't even have to be this album. Sit down and listen to it.
Right. Yeah.
The guys who did it put an awful lot of work into it. Give it a chance.
Right. It's your work. It's your art. So, but that's a problem I've had with some albums in the past. It's just like, what were they thinking? That really doesn't fit. And had they taken a little more time, but maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know. It just
you never know. But as far as favorite at the moment, I mean, it does literally change from day to day. I'll sometimes just, hit, pick a song out at random, and it's like, Thunder Down Under, that's right. Kicking my ass to. I like that.
That was actually my next question. Could you talk about that? I mean, it's an ode, I suppose, for lack of a better word, to Bon Scott.
Yeah, definitely. Me, again, this was something Mark had. He says, I've got these riffs that sound kind of AC/DC. Why don't we do a song about Bon Scott? I says, well, that would be cool. This is what you got. And he played it, and he had the chorus idea. And I says, all right, let me put some words together. It came really quickly. And we came up with the middle part and, the solo partner. And it's great because it's not a total, I mean, the chorus is very kind of AC/DC-ish. The verses are definitely a little heavier. So it's definitely Raven, but it's definitely a nod to one of our favourite characters and a guy in a band who was very influential to us, and still is.
Oh, sure.
AC are still awesome.
They're still putting out albums too, so
yeah, it's true.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Raven's had some highs and lows over the years, and just wondering, what do you think has kind of been a defining event? Would it be what happened to Mark, 15 years ago or so, or something else?
Yeah, that was, well, you've got a band that's been around as long as us. There's obviously a lot of defining events. For us, the watermarks you want to hit when you're a kid in Newcastle is you dream of playing either the Mayfair Ballroom, which is sadly gone now, or the City Hall. And then it'd say, wow, what if we played London? And then that just, goes down the line. Play Europe, play America,
right.
All that stuff. But as far as big events, obviously getting Rob Hunter in as drummer in 1980 was defining because it turned the band into a 3-piece. When we've been a 4-piece since our inception, that totally turned things inside out. And then when Rob left, getting Joe into the band, that was definitely game changing as well because he brought new blood into the animal.
Right.
We had a bit more of a heavier direction, and it came right when we needed it. So there's that, and then of course Mark's accident, which was, to the point that who knew if he was going to survive that first off, and then whether he'd ever walk again. and that kind of definitely had us on ice for like 3 years. We played, I believe it was 2004, we did 3 shows with Mark, and he was in a wheelchair. And he was thrown up in between songs, and it was like, whoa, here we go. We were really just thinking about his health rather than, didn't even think about it. I just said, I'll just write songs. I'll just write songs, and we'll take it as it comes. So being able, it's very, very inspiring him, the way he was able to overcome all that.
Sure.
And get to where he is now, because they'd literally written him off, and to see what he does now is just pretty unbelievable. So to be able to, and following that is obviously doing the Walk Through Fire album, which was, we really had to put it out there that we were back, we never went away, and this is what we're all about.
It was a good punctuation mark, exclamation mark, I think, then on that period of time for you guys, because it was a long time between albums, and I as a fan wondered, well, geez, are these guys ever going to put an album out again? And here you are, and it
took time. We started playing in earnest back around 2005, 2006, to start playing European festivals. Mm-hmm. In 2006, we actually did a demo at Assembly Line Studios with Kevin 131, who's been our engineer since, and it was like, wow, this is really good. Let's do it there, but we got to write some more songs. Let's go over the songs, and it's all in the preparation as far as that's concerned. Mm-hmm. We actually record really quickly, but like for example, Extermination, basic tracks and everything's done in maybe 4 or 5 days. Because we play live. We play all 3 guys in the room together.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's not done much anymore either, I don't think.
Not done at all. We don't play with click tracks. There's none of this, I'll fly my files in while I'm sitting at the beach at the pub. That's not rock and roll. It really isn't. What gives the feel of an album, basically any of our albums with the exception of Pack Is Back, that was done click track, and it suffered because of it. It's having that interaction between real people playing real music.
All right.
Doing it on a computer and, looking at the waveforms and moving everything so it's absolutely perfect. It's a great tool. And it can mean you can fix something rather than have to, say if people have left. Oh, damn, what are we going to do? Well, we can steal this from here and steal this from there and, gloss over. And that's fine, because doing an album is a painting, I guess. No one's counting brush strokes. But when that translates into the live show, when people are having to use backing tracks and click tracks and all that, that's when it starts getting out of control. So, hey, horses for courses, whatever works for you. What works for us to put our music across is playing it live.
All right. Yeah.
And as far as possible, that's what we do. And then we add and play with it after.
All right.
We talked to, when I interviewed Michael Wagner for our DVD, he said he'd only worked with 3 bands who worked like this. And it was ourselves, King's X, and Saigon Kick. Every other band does the click track, and then the drums, and then the bass, and then the guitar, and then the vocals. It's all done by committee,
Well, I think it works for you guys. So
yeah, it does. It works for us. So there you go.
All right. For you as a singer, you've been doing this for 40 years or so.
About 410 years.
400 years. I got to ask. How do you still hit those high notes like you do?
What?
Man.
I just basically try and take care of myself. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of the crazy stuff. And especially when you're on the road, you got to get sleep. The voice is the first thing to go when you're worn out and tired. So If you can get sleep, you're usually all right. So, touch wood, I can hit everything I hit, back when we started.
Wow, that's
and in some ways stronger. I did some yoga and stuff like that, and it's very helpful for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about breathing. And, the other thing that helps me is having the headset mic, believe it or not, when I'm moving around on stage. You're not as tense. You can move around more. It's good for monitoring. You can move to where it sounds better.
Mm.
But, touch wood, I'm lucky. It's working out.
All right. Hey, when you guys are on tour, speaking about singing live, other than playing in front of the Raven lunatics that are all out there, what do you guys like to do? Like, go out and see the sights, go to different restaurants?
Oh, yeah. It's all about the food.
Oh, okay. All right.
And no, we try to get out and about, depending on the setup. I mean, if you're floating around like we were in the States last year in a tour bus, it's a little harder to just jet off and go look at stuff. But when we're traveling from A to B, we do try to pull off and check some stuff out, because it's a great opportunity wherever you are, whichever country you're in, or even if you get there early, all right, we'll go for a walk, check out the city you're in.
Sure.
It's what it's all about. The last thing you want to do is look at the four walls of the dressing room for 10 hours a day. You'll go mental.
I can imagine. Okay. And since you guys did just tour, I think last fall, at least you came through Chicago, I think in November.
That's right.
What kind of plans do you guys have to support Extermination coming up, if any?
Yeah, we do. Well, I'm doing interview after interview.
Well, sure.
But for this, so we have a lot of that going on. And then there's some video stuff we shot in the middle of doing the album. We actually had rough mixes, and I sung some rough vocals at 4 o'clock in the morning before we went off and played with Accept, and went and did some video. So my brother's going to start throwing that together, at least for one song, to help promote this. Mm-hmm. And then we go to Japan in July.
Oh.
First week of July, we're going to Japan, playing there, which will be, as ever, it'll be awesome.
I think you guys have a pretty good fan base there.
Yeah, and so we played there twice before. This will be the third time, and the difference, the first time was incredible, the second time was insane. Our handlers there and friends were just looking, going, what's going on here? Because the Japanese, as you know, are very organized and very polite. Mm-hmm. And, they go crazy during the show, and then, okay, the show's over, and they'll all dutifully file out. Well, last time they didn't. Last time they raised the rafters and went crazy for like 20 minutes, to the point where we had to come out and play another song. And people were saying, this doesn't happen. They don't do this. So that was pretty amazing. So looking forward to tearing the place down in July. And then after that, we are going to be doing at least a relatively short tour, like 2 to 3 weeks in the States at the back end of July. Mm-hmm. And it's possible we may be coming to your area.
All right.
I'm about to talk to our agent, because we got a new agent, which will make my life easier, since I booked the last tour and I still have grey hair to prove it. But no, we love playing Chicago, obviously. It's always a lot of fun, and you've got a good fan base out there.
Sure.
So we'll be doing that, and we're still finalising. This is going to have a couple of opening acts with us finalising who we're going to work with. And then following that, we will be going to Europe in September and October and doing a pretty extensive tour over there. And then there's talk of people are throwing Mexico around, Australia, New Zealand. I'm working on that's way in the future, working on that. So a full dance card, and then when it runs round to next year, we'll be hitting all those big festivals in Europe.
Yeah, it sounds like it. A full world tour for Raven. All right.
Yes, please.
All right, John. Time for my final question. Our website is called We Love Metal.
Uh-huh.
Why do you love metal?
Well, let's base it on what I call metal.
Fair enough.
I love that. When people are out and about and they go, oh, what kind of music do you play? You know, Joe Schmo on the street. What kind of music? You say, heavy metal. And you instantly have a vision of some bearded guy with a cap with bad shorts on growling at the microphone. And my impression of heavy metal is more like a Deep Purple type of deal, you know what I mean? Anyway, why do I love metal? It instantly brightens my day. How about that? Gets the blood running. Makes me want to jump around and break stuff. In a good way.
Of course.
I mean, it's in the blood. This is why we do what we do. We plug in, you just hit that first note, so, you know, feeling the speaker cabinets rattle your trousers. Yeah. That's a good thing.
All right. Excellent. Okay, John. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with We Love Metal today. To all the fans out there, be sure to check out Extermination very soon. I think it's released in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, on the 28th.
All right, on the 28th. And any last words for the fans out there?
Thank you for the support, and thanks to the fans, because without you guys, where would we be? Especially with this album, as a lot of you helped so much with the Kickstarter thing for it. Check out the album. Hope you enjoy it, and we will be out on the road soon.
All right.
Keep on rocking.
Excellent. Thanks, John.
Hey, you bet, Bill. Take care, man.